Joining us now is Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. She's an Army combat veteran from the Iraq War. She's also a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congresswoman Gabbard, thanks very much for joining us tonight. Nice to have you here.
Thanks, Rachel. Aloha.
I guess how serious is a very general, wide-ranging question, but how serious do you think the situation is? How concerned are you about these latest reports?
I'm deeply concerned, Rachel, with what's happening there in Syria, but for its reasons that go deeper even than all of the news reports that we're hearing. The real concern that I see here is that our leaders continue to lose sight of what our mission really is, what the United States mission really is. And this is something that we saw started after 9/11 with President Bush, when he went into, rather than focusing on defeating al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, and these other Islamic extremist groups, instead, he was distracted by removing secular dictators like Saddam Hussein. We saw this continued with President Obama and then Secretary Clinton in the removal of Gaddafi in Libya. And in both of those situations, Rachel, we have seen the results. The results are countries that are overrun with chaos and Islamic extremists. And this is the danger that we're seeing now with this lack of focus on mission and who our enemy really is in Syria. And here's the irony in all of this, and the thing that's deeply concerning to me is that the United States is actually partnering with these Islamic extremists on the ground, al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, ISIS, and others, in supporting the removal of Assad, rather than focusing on defeating our enemy, those who attacked us on 9/11. Because what happens is, as the United States and others are focused on saying Assad must go, if Assad is overthrown tomorrow, these Islamic extremist groups who are united by one purpose, and that is to take over Syria, overrun the country, and present a greater threat, not only to the Middle East, but to the world.
The White House would say, the administration would say that there's a way to be opposed to Assad, but be unwilling to fight that war, and instead to prioritize fighting ISIS. They would say they're trying to thread that needle. I think they'd concede that it's difficult, but that's what they'd say their focus is. My question is whether or not that focus is being realized on the ground. Now that Russia's in there fighting a full-blown war, including cruise missiles and basically totally unconstrained targeting of people, even those who are allied with the United States, what does that scramble do to what is already a very difficult U.S. mission?
Well, first of all, I can tell you as a soldier, I know a very basic concept, and that is you don't defeat your enemy by also simultaneously helping them at the same time. ISIS, al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, all of these different groups are focused on removing Assad because they know that if he goes, they will be first ones in the door. And what we've seen on the ground, the chaos and the human suffering we've seen so far will only grow by many multiples, but we'll also see now these groups will have all these capabilities that Assad currently has. So you know what Russia sees right now is they see this outcome if Assad falls. So they're attacking these groups, these Islamic extremist groups who are trying to take over this country in Syria. And what I'm saying is for us in the United States, what's in our best national interest is to focus on exactly who our enemy is and not continue to fall into these same mistakes of the past and get into this mission of toppling secular dictators that we know will end very badly, not only for the people in the region, but for the American people as well.
Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, it's always a pleasure to talk with you about these issues. Thanks very much for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks.